I looked at a couple wood stoves while I was in there yesterday. I'm contemplating going back to wood. That way, if the power goes out, I got a heat source. Mm-hmm. But, I'm contemplating throwing between that and a generator. And
I'm just concerned because if it all goes south and the power goes out, I don't want both of us to be cold at your house.
That's right.
The Breakfast Flakes podcast brought to you by the Blue Cat Bar and Grill, next to the Roadside Event Center in Huntley. The Blue Cat, it's where it's at.
526, Mark and Paul checking in. Weird Wednesday, 30th of October, 31 degrees at the airport. I had 27 at my house.
Had 20 at the ranch today.
Got your sprinklers blowing out?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah. Pivots are all...
Okay, good.
Yeah, my pivots are all blown out and winterized, you bet. It's the end of the petunias for sure.
Finally.
Well, I watered them for the last time over the weekend because the ones by the house were still holding on, but 20 degrees off. Well, they're done anyway because I emptied the water, so they're done.
Folks, out Paul's way, flowers, cows, friends. If you're about done, Paul, I'll let you know.
That's right, you're about done.
You do not look good.
Yeah,
I think
done.
I'm going to quit watering you too.
You're done. You're done. Done.
Paul said something to me a couple weeks ago that kind of resonated. And I was complaining about how people drive. And Paul said, you're starting to sound like your mom. And I realize it's an age thing. Paul and I are both big on professionalism in the workplace. And we mostly don't have that here.
Anywhere.
We used to have sales meetings that started at 8 freaking o'clock. You cannot talk to a salesperson at our place of work at 8 o'clock unless you got their cell phone number.
Oh, yeah. It's like that everywhere now.
It is.
You just wander in.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't get going.
I pulled out of my parking place on Montana Avenue yesterday. A car that was stopped at the light got behind me. I was doing 23 and a 25, so he went bombing around me and then hit his blinker and turned left on the next block. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to hit somebody like you one of these days on purpose. My foot will not be on the brake. I'm old, I'm fading away, and I'm angry.
You were just like that?
I was, but it's a getting older thing. Then I click on the Billings Gazette website. They just had an article here a couple weeks ago about professionalism in journalism, and that's not going away anytime soon. But if you can't find anything to write about on Monday, we'll just have all the same headlines on Tuesday. That's fine with us, too. God. And the person or people doing the poll must have talked to a whole bunch of different people than Paul and I talked to. MSU Billings poll has Tester and Sheehy tied in the U.S. Senate race. First and foremost, the only poll that matters happens Tuesday.
That's right.
Don't let it affect your vote. Vote for who you're going to vote for. And also, Paul and I, public figures, we talk to a lot of people. And folks, it's not even close with the people we've talked to. And whole Flat Top is not leading that particular race.
But since you guys have it sewn up, I'd advise any of you young Democrats at college, just blow off Tuesday.
Yeah.
Since you got it.
Right.
Since MSUB poll thinks that you have it now, locked in, I wouldn't waste my time next Tuesday.
I'm not driving all the way to Metro Park and wait in line and vote.
Yeah, you college kids, why... Yeah. The poll was done September 30th through October 16th. Did any of you listeners out there who are listening now, were any of you contacted?
Yeah. If you were, we'd like to hear from you.
Yeah. We want to know what they asked. 42% approved Tester's performance. 41% disapproved. 12% are neutral.
Of the 42% that approved, if I could be so bold as to ask, can you give me the top 3 things that he did this last term that you liked?
Here's the one I don't believe. 13% of the Republican respondents said they're going to vote for Tester.
No, they didn't.
13%, folks. That means if we have 90,000 registered voters here in Billings and probably 60%, 55 to 60% are registered Republicans, that means Tester will get, close to 9,000 votes in Billings from Republicans for him?
I will bet my house against that.
Now, a poll from a different polling outfit on Sunday showed that Sheehy was up 50-46. 3% said they're still undecided. I don't know how that could be.
How can you be a week out
Everybody knows.
You haven't been inundated. You have been bulldozed with commercials, radio, TV, flyers in your mailbox, things popping up on Facebook and YouTube. How could you be undecided at this point?
Everybody knows. The poll was conducted, October 23rd through 25th. That was their poll. Polls from the spring and summer showed far more undecided voters. As the months went on, Sheehy steadily improved in his poll numbers. A recent poll by AARP and the New York Times and Siena College showed Sheehy leading by 8 points. Montana State University political science professor Eric Raley said a steady surge followed by a slight downturn in polls is typical for a newcomer candidate. 60% of their respondents said they all approve CI 128, which would codify abortion as a way of life in Montana and put it in our Constitution. 60%. Folks, you know that since the Supreme Court decided to put abortion decisions in the hands of states, that abortions in the United States are up. Far more abortions are done now than they were before when Roe versus Wade.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, yep, they're up. They're up. That should make them happy. Far more young children are getting killed now than before, and that's what they wanted. The MSUB poll found Trump leading Democratic nominee Kamala Harris 52-34. 52-34. The Emerson College poll showed Trump 58-39. I can't believe there would be that big a disparity in conservatism in supporting Donald Trump, and then the Republicans would vote for the man who tried to impeach him twice.
If you ask most of those people that vote for him, they don't remember that, Paul.
Yeah, I know. Now, no one or no information anywhere in this article gives us the people that MSUB polled. We have no age demographic. We don't know how they polled them.
No.
We don't know whether they called cell phones, whether they asked for a social media response, or whether they called landlines up at St. John's facility. So, I mean, we don't know anything about that. We don't know how the poll was weighted. Were most of the respondents between 18 and 32, or were most of the respondents between 55 and 75? We have none of that information here.
No.
None. Zero. If you do a poll on any college campus, the polls are going to be heavily weighted liberal, no doubt. If you do polls from people 50 years of age and older, they're going to be heavily weighted conservative.
Yeah.
We have no idea about any of that information in this poll article. None. Zero. The final poll is Tuesday. That's the poll. That's the one we want to know. The debates between the two were all chicken crap debates. They had no weight on the campaign whatsoever.
No, because it's not a debate in the pure debate form.
That's right.
It's the network slanting questions trying to make one side look better than the other.
These debates, one was put on by the Montana broadcasters, the other was PBS. They used the journalism students to fact check only Tim Sheehy.
Right.
No live audiences, all state, none of that. That's crap. We invited both of them for a debate. They turned us down. Sheehy would have showed up. Tester won't.
Right.
Because it's live and here in front of people. So.
Oh, well, maybe this is how they did their poll. I just got to admit, this is awesome. Just exactly what we're talking about. A lady, Facebook friend named Jolene, got a text and said, "Hey, Valerie, how are you?" She said, "I've had this phone number since it first came out 22 years ago, and I get crap like this all the time. Hey, Valerie, it's Simon from Montana Makes Change. We have to use our vote this November to protect our way of life in the last best place. It's getting harder for Montanans to afford life where we call home. Instead of addressing this cost of living crisis, too many out-of-touch politicians are working to restrict our autonomy and freedom instead." Hi, Valerie. How are you?
In 2006, folks, Tester won by 3,500 votes. That's it. John Tester has not brought anybody to speak on his behalf to Montana since he's been running.
Oh, that's because he's not a Democrat right now.
That's right. Montana is one of the least densely populated states in the U.S., with only a quarter of its residents living in cities of 50,000 or more. Democrats are desperate to retain their majority, and they're willing to put in any amount of money they have to buy your vote. Total spending in Montana on John Tester's campaign and on this Senate race is expected to be, by the time it's done done Tuesday, folks, $315 million. $350 million.
Wow.
That's $487 for each one of our registered voters. Mark Roscoe, former governor, said this flood of money is obscene. He said you can't even stand to turn on the TV. You're confronted constantly.
Our spooktacular October isn't over yet at the Roadside Event Center and the Blue Cat Bar and Grill in Huntley. Plan to be at the Roadside Event Center Monday, October 28th for Halloween trivia with Dave Austin starting at 6:30. And mark your calendars for December 7th for the Huntley Christmas Stroll and December 23rd for Classic Christmas Movie Trivia. There's always something happening at the Roadside Event Center and the Blue Cat Bar and Grill in Huntley, just 9 miles east of the Metro Park exit.
Wealthy donors, lobbyist cash, of which Jon Tester is the biggest recipient of lobbyist out-of-state influential money coming into a campaign than any senator in the United States. He was last time. And yet we see no one coming to Montana doing fundraisers and political appearances for Jon Tester, do we?
Because he don't need the money.
That's right. We don't. Distancing himself. And once again, if he wins, folks, and Kamala Harris wins, he will align with the most liberal of liberal Democrats to move their agenda forward that will make Montanans' lives miserable. Democrats are linking Tester's campaign to abortion. They think that can be the big winner because of the Supreme Court's decision to give abortion rights back to the states. More abortions are happening now than they were before when we had Roe Wade. But Tester is distancing himself from Harris and other Democrats at this point. Well, sure he is. Sure he is. Tim Sheehy said Tester has more dollars, but dollars don't vote. Tester's number one in recipient of lobbyist cash among all members of Congress, folks. All members of Congress. Tester said, I don't know who donates to me. So there you go. We get into the final days. The final days. You know, you got to get out and vote early in case there's any problems. And I heard yesterday that 1/3 of all eligible voters in the United States have already voted.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That's good.
1/3, yes. 1/3 as of yesterday have already voted. I think in Montana we were close to 300,000 votes in the state already in. So that's very good. And for you 60% of the people out there in Montana, and for you 13% of who you call yourself a Republican that are voting for Jon Tester. Lifelong, yeah. You 13% who are voting for Tester, and Tester supports Biden's and Kamala Harris's policies 95% of the time. Joe Biden yesterday called everybody who supports Donald Trump garbage.
I saw that.
Did you see that?
Yep.
You're all garbage. You people that vote for Jon Tester and you're Republican, and you'll be glad to get Tester in so he can work with other Democrats. They called you garbage. Joe Biden called you garbage yesterday. It's all over the news. Well, it's not all over because some won't cover it.
Right.
Remember, Hillary called you all deplorables. Remember, she did that in her campaign. Garbage. There was a comic that said Puerto Rico is a floating island of garbage. He said the only garbage I see are Trump supporters. That's what he said yesterday. Garbage. You're all garbage. Joe Biden and his family is garbage.
Yeah. You
You want to talk about garbage, trash, scum? I'll take it even further. Send your comments. Scum. How about scumbags? Dirt bags. The Biden family. The money that they have taken in corruptively, China, the Ukraine, Russia, and you'll find out when they're gone. You're going to find out. Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Jill Biden, they all know. His brother, Jim Biden, they all know. Scum, they all know. Yet you're going to vote for that regime to stay in there. But yesterday referred to all of you as garbage. Garbage. And of course, the White House said, well, he's referring to the hateful rhetoric coming out of a rally in Madison Garden of garbage. Folks, Mark and I have been to Puerto Rico. We've been there. We've seen it. We've walked the streets of Puerto Rico. There is garbage.
There is.
Everywhere.
Right.
In Puerto Rico. Garbage. Walk down the streets of San Francisco. Garbage. Walk up Highway 87 towards Roundup or Montana Avenue in some places. Garbage. There's garbage. Puerto Rico is full of it. Full of garbage. But you folks, you 13% of what MSUB said are, staunch Republicans who are planning to go for Tester. Remember, they think you're garbage. Garbage.
Anything in that report about the number of lifelong Democrats that aren't going to vote for him?
Nope, nothing in there. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how in that poll we get how many Republicans are supporting Tester, but not how many Democrats are switching and moving over?
That's not fair reporting. That's not journalism.
And we don't know age demographics or anything from that. It's just what they tell you. These are professors, people leading this. They've been trained, indoctrinated, all went to liberal universities. That's how they come out. Some Democrats began distancing themselves from Joe Biden's comments. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro said he would never insult the people of Pennsylvania or any Americans, no matter what candidate you support, by calling them garbage. Well, he's up for election too, see? President Trump had a big rally last night in Allentown, packed again, and Kamala Harris traveling around the country using Liz Cheney as an ally. They threw her out of Wyoming so fast, and that's not going to help her at all. Well, I was going to vote for former President Trump until I found out that Liz Cheney's campaigning with Kamala Harris, so now I'm switching. Said no one. Said no one. People already know that undecided stuff, that's BS. Unless, and we don't know this, a lot of the kids that they polled were between 18 and 22 and just haven't even thought about it yet. But we don't know that. We don't know that. And they're already laying the groundwork in case things don't turn out the way they want. About election results could be delayed. Folks, we need one thing that I would like to see that would be good for America. Not the parties, but for America, especially one party that seems to benefit more than the other, would be standard election rules all the way through. Voter ID, election day voting only, no absentee ballots unless you are physically impaired, you are military, you're a senior citizen over the age of 75, anything like that. No holiday for election day. I think election day needs to be moved to a Saturday and not a Tuesday. I went over that a year ago of why it was held on a Tuesday, and it doesn't need to be on a Tuesday anymore. You get more volunteers, more workers, everybody has more free time. It would just be better. Inside a building ringed with chain link fence and concrete barriers in downtown Phoenix, election workers on November 5th will begin a grindingly slow tally of the ballots cast in Maricopa County. That's one of the nation's ultimate swing counties. You may recall what happened last election in Maricopa County. Their voting machines went down, and so everybody showing up to vote, they said, you can't vote here. You're going to have to drive 90 miles to the next polling station to cast your vote. Remember that last year?
Yeah.
And the Secretary of State was running for the Senate. She was making these up as she went. Florida has more voters than Arizona. They get theirs done by midnight. 60% of all Arizona's voters are in Maricopa County. That's why Maricopa County is the one that always has problems.
Right.
That can swing it. Here's a woman grew up in Phoenix back in the 60s, never had these problems. We knew by midnight. Everybody knew by midnight. In 1993 in Maricopa County, the population was 2.3 million. Well, now it's over 4 million just in that county. And in Maricopa County, down there in Arizona, places like that, makes you wonder about voter fraud, citizenship along those lines in Maricopa County. So we'll see. They're already, folks, putting these articles out. Democrats are going to challenge the results of the election.
Oh.
You know, they are going to fight if former President Trump wins, not to let him be Now, what about the threat to democracy stories? God, these people. But you have to own it. The bad economy, the bad situation in the world, the high energy prices, the bad border, the war in the Ukraine, the Middle East unrest. It's a quagmire. North Korea's on the move. They're joining in on wars. Putin's threatening nuclear nuclear war against the rest of the world if the West gets involved. Our military debacle that we have now, we've depleted the money. We're broke, our budgets, everything, high taxes, you name it. You have to be held accountable. Your party's been in charge for 12 out of the last 16 years.
Exactly.
You are responsible for it. Why are you voting for this? What do you want your woman to do? Do you want more war? Do you want higher taxes? Do you want more government spending? If you say no to all that, then why in the freak do you vote for them? I want to be able to send my kid. Do any of you Democrats want to be able to send your kid where you think they're going to get the best education?
Exactly.
Democrats don't believe that. No, we'll tell you where you go. What the hell's the matter with you people? That's your party. They support all this. Housing cost. 20 million illegals have wandered into the United States. They all got to live somewhere.
Yeah.
What do you think rents and housing has got so tight and gone up?
Well, those people need to call John Tester. I saw the ad.
Oh, yeah?
There was a gal who couldn't afford to pay her rent, so she bought a house with the help of John Tester.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Smart move. Folks, you got to own that, man. You want more of that? High inflation, government spending, more dollars chasing fewer goods. You know what it's like at the grocery store. How in the hell can you support those policies to continue, not only continue, but to expand them?
Yeah. If that party gets back in, do you think it's going to stay the same?
Our spooktacular October isn't over yet at the Roadside Event Center and the Blue Cat Bar and Grill in Huntley. Plan to be at the Roadside Event Center Monday, October 28th for Halloween trivia with Dave Austin starting at 6:30. And mark your calendars for December 7th for the Huntley Christmas Stroll and December 23rd for Classic Christmas Movie Trivia. There's always something happening at the Roadside Event Center and the Blue Cat Bar and Grill in Huntley, just 9 miles east of the Metro Park exit.
More people coming in,
Yeah.
more taxes, all of that, folks. All of that is coming with them. All of it. What the hell? People are just blind. Savings being eaten up in America, trillions upon trillions of dollars in debt. You're saddling your kids, your grandkids with trillions. And they will spend more when they get in. They have promised. You know what's coming. You know what you got in the last 4? You can double anything. You know that banana analogy I always use, it's up your ass. So far, that banana is going to be up there even further in the next 4 years, Mark.
I know.
They're going from an 8-inch banana to a 20-inch banana, and it's going all the way up. I'm using this dystole as an analogy.
Right.
And you're going to feel it more in the next 4 than you did the last 4 if Tester and Harris and all of them get back in. They're not going to go back and become conservative on their governing, on their principles, on anything. That's right. God, they're going to double down.
Yeah.
More government control, rents, interest rates. That makes it impossible. Why? They're trying to slow down what their spending did. Nobody can buy the house now.
No.
6% interest on $300,000, folks.
And look at the price of a house now versus 4 years ago.
Property taxes, federal income taxes, Social Security, they've robbed it. You keep voting for it.
Yep.
It's going to double. It's going to double the adverse effects it has on the average American citizen over the next 4 years. If you put them in, what the hell? Can't you see that? It's going to happen. Student loan forgiveness. Who's going to pay for that? You are. You'll never get ahead.
Not the people that borrowed the money.
That's right. That banana is getting wedged up there further and further every day. You keep voting for him, it's going up further. It's going to start feeling a little uncomfortable. You're going to start feeling a little pressure. Did you remember that, don't you, Mark? Okay. Yeah. See?
This is going to cause you mild discomfort.
That's right. That's right. I mean, the hell? Open your eyes. Just think of that. You go to buy a home and you save all the money for the down payment. Your home is $350,000, folks, and you have $50,000 and you put that down on your home and your bank. So that's 6% interest. You're going to pay $18,000 a year. Interest first, all right? $18,000. Want me to do the math? That's $1,500 a month house payment just for the interest.
That's not the principal. That's not your your property tax.
$1,500 a month interest. That used to be a house payment.
Yeah.
Keep voting for him, folks. That's right. MSUB pollsters. Did you tell them that before they told you who John Tester, Kamala Harris? You go to the polls, you just imagine that banana. I want the banana removed. I want it slowly coming out instead of going in. I'm hoping this analogy is painting a good picture for folks.
How could it not?
Well, thank you, Mark. I knew I'd have your support. Good God. You know, they've been in charge of education for 30 years.
Yeah.
Look at your test scores. Look at them. Look at the proficiency levels we're getting. Look at the results, folks, we're getting. 30% are proficient when they graduate.
And that's okay.
30? So why? Why would you vote for more of that? Why would you vote for more if you... Now, and it's a great analogy. Because if you vote and you support Tester and you support Kamala Harris and all the Democrats' policies and visions for America, you're supporting more of what you've got over the last 4 years. You're going to see it double down. It will double the effect that it has on the average American. Prices, debt, inflation, unrest in the world, border crossings, energy policy, all of these things are going to double with Tester and them in charge the next 4 years than what you've already endured. If you like it, which I don't know anybody that does.
No.
I'm going to do a poll. I'm going to Walmart, and I'm going to ask people if they enjoyed their experience there and what they just went through at the grocery store. I can't believe the price of things. I can't afford this. I can't do that. I can't do that. So who are you going to vote for? I'm going to vote for more of it. I want more of it. Not only that, I want to double down. And could you add carbon taxes? And could you also add an asset tax? Oh, yeah. Add an asset tax on all that. Add all that, folks. It's going to double the effect on the average American in the next 4 years if they're in charge. It just is. It just is. You think it's hard to get a permit to float the Smith River now? If they get in charge, you wait 4 years from now.
Oh, my God.
You think your water bill and your electricity rates are high now? If they take over and in charge 4 years from now, that banana is going to be coming out your mouth with their new mandates and policies that they'll be able to pass. So why? Why would you vote for more pain and suffering and hardship on you, your family, your state, and your country? Why? Well, I don't like some of the other guys' tweets.
Yeah, that's exactly what they base it on. Drives me crazy.
You're stupid.
Yeah.
Folks, have you ever bought a vehicle and had one of the most obnoxious dipwad car salesmen ever, but you got a great deal on it? But dealing with him, oh my God, what a piece. Well, what'd you pay? I got it for $40 cash. You stole that. I know it. Same scenario.
Remember my guy? Mark.
Oh, yeah. I remember him. Mark, he'd come in every day and talk about him, but he got a smoking deal.
I did.
You just had to put up with him.
Right.
But it was better for you.
It was. About $4,000 better, as I recall.
You Seinfeld fans. Remember the soup Nazi? People hated going in there. They couldn't stand the soup Nazi.
Right.
But he had the best soup.
Doesn't matter. No soup for you.
Anybody ever tell you look like Dustin Powers or whatever the guy's name was? No soup for you. But he had the best soup. People would put up with that to get the best soup. Folks, you gotta overlook those indiscretions to get the best America.
Yeah.
If you want the best America, you can't have ding-a-ling in the White House. What? Don't you get it? This is so simple. And Tester, the biggest ass kisser, suck up. He's become wealthy, folks. You haven't. Guy's worth between $10 and $18 million now. How in the hell did he get that? Making $165 a year.
Smart investing?
No. Man, 15,000 convicted murderers turned loose on our streets.
And it's not even a talking point on their side.
No, 13,000 sexual predators that want to get your daughter alone somewhere, released into America. You know what that's going to be in the next 4 years?
Yeah.
This is what you're voting for. You're going to get more of what we had in the last 12 with all them in charge. You're going to get more of that over the next 4 years. Why would you keep voting for all that pain? Is beyond me. Beyond me. But people do. People do. Governor Greg Gianforte toured a Montana cattle ranch, Mark, to see some sustainable soil practices. Oh, that's nice. I'd like to have him come out and show him what the prairie dogs did. Mm-hmm. Remember when I brought that up and he laughed at me?
I know. How is visiting a cattle ranch got anything to do with sustainable soil?
Because this guy is practicing new conservation tactics or something, I guess, using different bugs that are drilling into the ground, enabling the moisture to penetrate further, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Paul and I have had that talk about his place.
Yeah, the prairie dogs are drilling holes in mine, but the plague got them, which is good. I'm doing a lot of fencing and fall work and stuff now, and driving through, and there's less and the plague's getting them.
Yeah.
So the problem is they decimated it so much that I don't think it would be able to recover on its own without me getting involved.
Yeah, when taking the tractor in and disking it or something.
Reseeding.
Yeah.
Because usually what happens is it's overwhelmed then by cheatgrass.
Yeah. Well, Paul, it's not like you're afraid to plant stuff that you're not sure is going to come up.
I know. I'm a gambler. Hell, you saw me last week at Town and Country.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I put a 5 in there, but that ruins more acres, millions of them every year. Ran into a nice guy yesterday. In fact, when I was leaving the ranch down there yesterday, and he was going to do some shooting and on a piece of state ground, and I just told him I had cows behind it, and he said, "Are you guys really going to retire?" That's what he said. I said, "Well, I don't know. We're working on some things now, but love your show. Great guy. God, I wish they were all like that."
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, here's a gal that wants a couple of your dead prairie dogs to introduce to.
You know, I've had a couple. You can't find them unless you root down in there. Probably you'd have to go down in the hole with a piece of barbed wire. If you go down in there with barbed wire, you can hook them. It grabs a hole. What? Then you can pull them out.
Folks,
down in there.
The look on his face is like when I'm giving somebody the recipe for my goulash.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't. It wasn't either.
Your eyes are big and you're excited.
Well, you know, and if they die above ground, crows get them, hawks get them, coyotes get them. Mm-hmm. They drag them somewhere, eat them, and then, you know, the fleas and stuff from it. I would imagine in the wintertime it slows down, though, the spread because of the winter. But hey, what's our motto here? You get the damn truth, right? Unfiltered, you get the damn truth.
From a few minutes ago from Kelly. Tell Paul thanks. I was eating a banana, but now it's in the garbage.
Okay. I get it. I'm just using it to make a point.
Right.
Make a point. Oh, hope you got it. And they didn't, but... So all you people that are garbage, time to get up and get working. For all the people that will support the other side.
Yeah.
That they don't know what self-inflicted wounds they're putting on our nation by their vote. They don't understand it.
No. Okay. We'll get rolling here. First news coming up.
There's the words, folks. Okay. You know what that means.
It means it's 6:15. We got to go.
I know. Oh, you leaving at 10?
I am leaving at 10.
Me too.
The Breakfast Flakes podcast brought to you by the Blue Cat Bar and Grill. Next to the Roadside Event Center in Huntley. The Blue Cat. It's where it's at.